Hello my dear boys and girls, welcome to the Python lecture number 3. My name is E.D. Stephen Neil Joshua. I am assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So, in my lecture number 3 Python, today we will study about a data types, what are the various data types in a Python. So, this is my today's agenda. So, before going into the data types and the types of a data types in Python, I just want to revise the things which I have explained in a lecture number 2. So, coming to the lecture number 2, in the lecture number 2, coming to the lecture number 2, in the lecture number 2, we have studied about the first one is what are the various features of a Python that we have studied. So, and next we have studied about the syntaxes of C, C++, Java and a Python programming. So, my Python is a simple, that is the first thing we have studied, and second one is Python is a interpreted programming language. What is the differences between a C, C++, how the compilation will be executed there, how the compilation done there, that I have explained you. What is the compilation and interpretation process of a Java, that I have explained you. And coming to the next one is I have explained you how a Python virtual machine will work. So these are the things I have explained you. And coming to the next one, a Python is an object-oriented programming that I have told you. That means I can work with a object, class, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction. All these things are possible in a Python because Python is an object-oriented programming language that I have explained you. So, coming to the today's session, what are the various data types of a Python? So, before going into the various data types of a Python, we have to know how a variable works in a Python. So, coming to here, so these are my lecture content. So, in this lecture, I will talk about how a Python sees a variable. That is my first agenda. And coming to the next one, I will talk about the data types in a Python. Remember, I will talk about a fundamental data types of a Python, in Python. So, integer, float, boolean and string. These four are and one more data type, and one more data type is there, and that one is complex. Complex is also a data type in Python. So, in detail, I will talk about a integer, a float, a boolean data type, a string and a complex. So, I will talk about this important fundamental data types. So, coming to the next one, by the end of this lecture, you have to differentiate between a primitive data types and a non-primitive data types. And coming to the important discussions, today's important discussion, how Python sees a variable. This is very, very important. In programming languages like a C or a C++ or a Java, memory will play an important role. I mean, whenever we are declaring a variables in a Java, C or a C++, we will just visualize how a variable will be stored in memory. That visualization is being habituated to us from the first year onwards. For example, consider a is equal to 1. So assume that this a is of a type integer. This a is of a type integer. So coming to here, whenever I have written my statement like this, int of a is equal to 1, what's happening here is, in my memory, a block is being created, and the name of that block is an a, and for each and every block, there is an address associated with that block. Assume that the address of this block is 1, 2, 3, and the value which is there inside this block is a 1. So this is how we usually visualize whenever we declare a variable in a C or Java programming. But coming to the next one, for example, assume that what I have done is, I have declared one more variable, int of a is equal to 2. I have declared and initialized a variable here. So what happened immediately is, now instead of this one will be erased, and on this variable a and on this address 123, a new value will be present, and that value is in a 2. This is how a variable will work in a C or a C++ or Java programming. I want all of your attention because this is very, very important session. So assume that this is our scenario number 1. This is my scenario number 1. I'll tell you the 3 scenarios. In these 3 scenarios, I'll explain you how a variable is working in a C, C++ and Java programming. And in the scenario number 3, I will talk about how a variable is working in a Python. So concentrate. So coming to the next one, next important thing is, when we assign one more variable to another variable, like for example, I have done int of b is equal to a. I have written a statement like this. So what happens is, immediately a 2 chunk of blocks will be created inside my memory, and the name of this block is a b, and the name of this block is an a. So what's happening is, what I have done through this statement, through this instruction is, I have copied the value which is there inside an a to b, isn't it? Yes or no? So I have copied the value of an a to the bth variable. So assume that the address of this one is 123 and the address of b is 145. So whenever I am writing an instruction like this, either in a C, or in Java, what's happening is, a separate variable will be created for my b. That is the important point we have to remember, and another variable is created for an a. So we are having a 2 different variables within 2 different memory locations. As a result, I am occupying a more memory. So this is how a variables will be worked in a C, C++ and Java. So this is my scenario number 2. This is my scenario number 2. In the scenario number 1, I have told you how a block will be created, how one value is replaced with another value, that I have explained you. In the scenario number 2, I have explained you how two variables will be created within two different memory locations when I try to copy the value from one variable to another variable. This is my scenario number 2. But coming to the important part, that is a scenario number 3. So coming to the scenario number 3, what I am doing is, first of all, what I have done is, in my Python idle shell, so assume that this is my Python interactive shell. This is my Python interactive shell. Assume that. So what I have done is, I have declared and written a statement like this: a is equal to 1. So immediately what happened is, one object will be created, and this is my object. One object will be created, and inside that object the value 1 will be placed. So here 1 is my object, and next one, since I have written a variable a here, a variable will be created, and this a variable is referencing to this object. Is it clear? I am repeating again. I have written a statement like this in my interactive shell: a is equal to 1. So since in Python I never declare a data type, that means I never write int a is equal to 1 or float a is equal to 1. Like this kind of statements I never write. So whenever I am writing a is equal to 1, so what my Python interpreter does is, it will look at the value. So the value here is a 1. So a object will be created, and inside that object the value 1 is present, and since now it will look after the variable a will be created, and this a is referencing to this object. Is it clear? And coming to the next statement, observe carefully. Next I have written one more statement, that is a is equal to 2. So now what happens is, now whenever I have written a is equal to 2, what happens is, now a is referencing to 1, this will be dereferenced, and this will be dereferenced, and now my a will be referencing to, now my a will reference to the new value, that is 2, and it doesn't never reference to a previous value, that is a 1. Is it clear? So always in my Python interpreter will refer to the recent value which is having a same variable name. Remember that one. And coming to the very next important thing, that is assigning one variable to another variable makes a new tag bound to the same value. So for example, what I have done is, I have written a statement like this: b is equal to a. If you observe the scenario number 2, there what I have done is, I have written a same statement like this, but in the scenario number 2, two separate variables, a chunk of blocks are created within a different addresses, within a different name. So this is what happened in a scenario number 2. But coming to here in my Python programming, what's happening is, observe carefully. So in my previous slide I have explained you that in the first statement I have written in the first statement I have written like this: A is equal to 1. When I have written a statement like this, what happened is a object is created, and inside this the value 1 is present, and A is referencing to this one. And next what I have done, again I have written A is equal to 2. Now what happening is, now again based on this value, what happening is one more object has been created, 2, and now A is referencing to this one. So when A is referencing to this object, as a result this will be dereferenced. This is what I have explained you in my previous slide. But coming to here, observe carefully, I have written a statement like this: A is equal to B. So I have written a statement like this. Now observe carefully, I have assigned the A value to B. That means I have placed a 2 value from A and I have given it to a B. So as a result, instead of creating a 2 separate objects, what happening is a 2 variables has been created, A and B, and this A and B are referencing to the same object, that is a 2, and this is referencing to the same object, that is a 2. But when you compare this scenario with my previous scenario 1 example, there a separate 2 memory blocks are created and a separate addresses were there. But here, coming to the Python, when I have written a statement like this, B is equal to A, here I have created a one more variable B, but here in Python, the Python interpreter, it has not created a one more variable, but instead of that, it has referenced to the previous object, that is 2, which was created by the variable A. So this is how a Python sees a variable. Sir, if you ask me, sir, what is the advantage of this scenario? Then I can quickly say that the first one is memory utilization and the performance will be increased. I hope this is clear for you. So now we will move to a practical sessions. In my practical session, I will explain you all these things in my Python idle. So coming to the practical implementations about how a Python sees a variable. Now let us look at the practical implementations. So coming to the practical experience, I want all of you to parallelly work with me. So coming to here, I have created a one variable A, and to this variable I have assigned a value, that is 1. So syntactically it was correct, and I want to print the value. So for that the function is a print. So print of A has successfully executed, and now I want to know the type of A. So for that the answer is class of int. Observe carefully. Here what I have done is, in order to know the type of A, for that the function I have to use is type, and the output I got is this one. So observe carefully, here I have got an int, int, that I can know clearly. But coming to here, this int is an object, and this int is belonging to this class. That is how we have to interpret it. I am repeating again. Observe carefully. Here in the first line I have given A is equal to 1, and if I want to know the type of A, for that the function I have to use is type, And coming to the next one, the output I got here is class of int. Observe carefully, here int is a object. Here int is a object, and this object is belonging to this class. Remember that one. And an important point to be noted here is, in Python, every data type is a object. Every data type is an object. Remember that one. It is not a primitive type. And coming to the next one, coming to the practical implementation, right now what I am doing is b is equal to a. I have written my statement like this. So coming to the scenario number 1, observe carefully. I want to print the value which is there inside a b. So the answer is 1, and I want to know the type of b. So the type of b is class of int, and I want to know the address locations of a variable and address location of a b variable. So for that, the function I have to use is id of a and id of b. So observe carefully. Here the address of an a variable is 163.60.55.296, and the address of b is 163.60.55.296. So I will explain this within a visual representation. Observe carefully. So the moment I have written a statement like this, a is equal to 1, what happened is a object is been created, and inside this object the value 1 is present, and a name tag a is been created. I can call it as a variable, or I can call it as a name tag, and this name tag a is referencing to this object. Is it clear? So the first instruction has been executed successfully. But coming to here, next in this instruction, what I have done, I have written a statement like this: b is equal to a. I have written like this. That means what's happening? I have copied the value which is there inside an a to the variable b. That means instead of creating a one more chunk of memory, what my Python interpreter does is a one more variable b has been created, and this b is referencing to the same object. That is why, if you observe carefully, the address of a here and the address of b here both are similar, and it has given me the value that is 163.60.55.296. So this is the address location I have got. I hope from this example it is clear for you that how a Python sees a variable. So coming to the next important thing, that is, what are the Python data types? So coming to the Python data types, in my Python there are, first one is a numeric type, second one is a dictionary, third one is Boolean, and next one is a set, and next one is a sequence type. So these are the main things. First one I want to repeat it again. The first one is a numeric type, second one is a dictionary, third one is a Boolean, fourth one is a set, and fifth one is a sequence types. And coming to the numeric types are again categorized. So numeric types are categorized into 3. In that, the first one is an integer, second one is a float, and third one is a complex type. And remember, I want all of you to remember this point. This integer can be represented in 4 different forms. This integer can be represented in 4 different forms. In that, the first one is, I can represent this in terms of a decimal. I can represent this in terms of a binary. or I can represent this in terms of an octal, or I can represent this in terms of an hexadecimal. So binary base is an 10, sorry, decimal base is a 10, binary is an 2, octal is 8, hexa is 16. So I will explain you with a practical example, but as of now, I want all of you to remember this one. So coming to the next one, so sequence types are string, tuple and list. Yeah, and coming to the next one is a Boolean data type. So in the Boolean data type, we are having a true and false. So these are the various data types in a Python. But I want to remember one important point. I want all of you to remember this. All the fundamental data types in Python are immutable. I want all of you to remember this point. All the fundamental data types in Python are immutable. Sir, what are the fundamental data types in Python? If you ask me this, so the fundamental data types in Python are, the first one is integer is a fundamental data type, float is a fundamental data type, complex is a fundamental data type, and Boolean is a fundamental data type, and string is a fundamental data type. All this 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, these 5 are the fundamental data types, and the fundamental data types are immutable. Sir, what is a immutable? If you are from a Java background, then you will understand the differences between a mutable object and an immutable object. In short, I want to tell you what is a mutable and immutable. Later in my coming lectures, I will talk more about the differences between a mutable and a immutable. Immutable means once I create an object, I cannot modify it. I am repeating again, immutable means once I create the object, I cannot modify it. That I call it as an immutable, and the modified object are known as an immutable. So this is the differences between a mutable and a immutable. So now we will do a practical implementations on a basic fundamental data types, that is a integer, float, complex, Boolean and a string. So now we will move to the next slide, that is what are the different data types in a Python. Hello guys, welcome to the practical implementation of working with a different Python data types. So coming to here, I am opening a Python idle. A Python idle has been opened. So coming to here, I want to work with a binary number systems. I want to work with a binary number systems. I want to work with a binary number systems. So coming to here, in the binary number systems, only 0 and 1 are allowed numbers, that we already know. And coming to the next one, for example, I have written a instruction like this: a is equal to 1 1 1 1. So observe carefully, I have written like this: a is equal to, I have written a statement like this: 1 1 1 1. So this is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, that is 8 4 2 1. So the binary equivalent for this one is, 15. So I should get an answer that is a 15 here, isn't it? Now observe carefully, I have written my statement like this, and I have hit enter. I want to know the output for a variable a. So when I enter this one, if you observe carefully, here I have got an answer that is a 1, 1, 1, 1, which is in a decimal number. From this, it is clear is that if my Python is not able to understand what is a decimal number is, what is a binary number is, what is a octal number is, and what is a hexadecimal number is. So I have to write a instruction in such a way that my Python interpreter is able to understand it. In order to make my Python interpreter understand, I have to prefix one value, and that value is, observe carefully, a is equal to 0b followed by 1, 1, 1 and 1. So, sorry, a is equal to 0, b followed by 1, 1, 1 and 1. So it has executed successfully, and I want to know the output of an a. A is equal to 15. Now the answer is executed successfully. Or I can write like this as well. There is a one more way of writing it, that is a is equal to 0, b, 1, 1, 1 and 1. It has executed successfully, and now I want to know the output of an a. A is equal to, now it has given me 15. So either you can prefix 0 followed by small b, or you can prefix 0 followed by capital B. If you want to convert a binary number to a decimal number, this is the representation. And coming to the next type of a representation, that is, I want to work with a octal number system, and the allowed characters are, and it is in a base 8 number system, and it is in a base 8 number system, and allowed numbers are from 0 to 7. So these are the allowed number systems. So I will give you demo about how to convert from a one system to another system. For example, a is equal to, I want to convert a octal number. So for that, 0 followed by O followed by 777, and I want to know the value. So the answer for that one is a 511. Here what I have done is, I have prefixed a value, that is 0 followed by O, or I can use a is equal to 0 followed by capital O followed by 777. It has executed successfully, and now I want to know the output, that is a, and it has given me 511 as an answer. So this is the how I will convert a octal number to a decimal number. And coming to the next number system is, I will open my Python idle. So the next one is, I want to convert I want to know how to work with a hexadecimal numbers. So hexadecimal number system. So it is a base 16 number, it is in a base 16 number system, and allowed characters are 0 to 9, and A to small f, and capital A to capital F. So these are the characters. So observe carefully, A is equal to, in order to work with a hexadecimal numbers, what I have to prefix is 0 followed by x followed by phase. It has executed successfully, and now I want to know the answer, and it has given me 64206, or A is equal to 0 followed by capital X, and it is a phase, and I have given everything in a capital form. Now observe, I want to print it, and it is in a 64206. So this is the answer. This is how we will work with a hexadecimal number systems. So we will now discuss about what are the various utility functions in a Python. So note it down, the utility functions in a Python. So in Python there are 3 utility functions. In that, the first one is a bin, second one is OCT, oct, and third one is a HEX, hex. So coming to what is the purpose of a utility function? If you want to convert from one number system to a binary number system, so there you will go with a bin function. If you want to convert a decimal number or a octal number or a hexadecimal number to a binary, there I will go with utility functions. So now we will practically observe how to work with a utility functions. So coming to here, bin is a utility function, and inside this argument I have to pass the value. Observe carefully. So inside this I am passing in a value that is a 15. So it has given me 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1. What I am saying to Python interpreter here is, hey Python interpreter, can you convert a decimal number to a binary number? So as a result, Python has successfully given me this answer. And now observe carefully, bin of 0, O, 7, 7, 7 and 7. So by looking at this, I have prefixed O, which means that I am converting a octal number to a binary number. Observe carefully. So it has successfully executed. And now observe, bin of 0, x, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I have done here is, if you observe carefully, I have inside this parenthesis, I have used a hexadecimal, and I am saying, I am taking permission of a Python interpreter to convert this hexadecimal number to a binary number. So for that one, the answer is this. So this is the first utility function, and next we will talk about a octal utility function, OCT of 786. So what, and the answer for this one is this, I have given 786 decimal number as an argument, and it has converted to a octal number. And next one is OCT of 0, x, face. What I am saying to my Python interpreter here is, and what I have passed inside this argument is, I have given a hexadecimal number as an argument, and I want it to be converted into a octal number. So observe carefully, and it has successfully executed. And next one is OCT of 0, 0b, 1, 1, 1, 1, and it has given me the answer, and it has converted to me a binary number to a octal number. And coming to the next utility function is hexadecimal, he of hex of 10. So what I am doing telling is, I want to convert this decimal number to a hexadecimal format. So it has given me an answer, or he of x of 0, O, 1, 2, 3. So I want a octal number to be converted into a hexadecimal format. So these are all the various utility functions in a Python. So coming to the next data type, that is a float data type, I want all of you to be practically execute each and every program whatever I am saying on the screen. So coming to a floating data point, for example, I have written a statement like this, f is equal to 123.456, and I want to know the value, and I have successfully executed it, and it is a valid thing. And coming to the next one, f is equal to, what I have done is 0x 123.456 and it has given me an invalid syntax. Observe, I cannot give a hexadecimal as an input for my f, and it is a valid, and it is not, it is a invalid thing. I am not supposed to give an input like that. My Python interpreter will give me an error, and the name of that one is a invalid syntax. And coming to the next one is f is equal to 0.123.456, and again it is giving me an error. Even I cannot give an octal number as an a, and I cannot assume it to be a floating type. So this is all about a floating point representation. So in my next lecture, I'll discuss about what are the various immutable and mutable objects, and next I'll talk about a complex data types, and next I'll talk about how to work with a Boolean data types, and next I'll talk about how to work with a string types. So these all are the assignment questions. So explain how Python variable works in a Python. Explain how Python variable works in a Python. That is the first one. And second one is list out various data types in a Python. I will upload this slide in my Canvas. You can take this slide from there. And coming to the second one, that is a quiz. Is Python case sensitive when dealing with identifiers? Answer this one, and you can, I'll post this question in my Canvas, so there you can post and I'll grade there itself. And coming to the second one is, which of the following is invalid? So I want you people to answer this quiz. So these are the various resources, and I'll talk about a few important things about the various data types in a Python. That's all for today. Thank you.